chance, one move, one dance, one shot. Brace yourself for the bass. One shot. To the baseline. One shot.
Welcome, Saints Nation. We have ourselves another match here. This time we're in for some NECC Overwatch action. Week 2 here in the league. Saints started off rather strong, but this time we're going up against the University of Buffalo. My name is Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners, and we're getting hot right into it right off the start. But we are going to see our usual St. Clair squad trying to take on this Buffalo squad, and Kale is going to be the first one coming out swinging, as Ilias is going to be the pick here for map number 1. We got Bailable taken to the skies on the far with Imp right in his pocket as usual, and a nice little hook there from the side of Buffalo to send him into the well. Bit of the sudden start throw things off here, so of course best of 5 action here tonight between St. Clair and the University of Buffalo. We do have, of course, on the side of Buffalo, we have Durnsbane on tank, Dirk Dursky on support, Juice on support, Kev on tank, Kantaru on DPS, as well as Kikamanhum. Oh god, that's going to be a fun one to say all day. On the side of Buffalo on DPS side of things. Yeah, we have our usual squad. We got Bailable on DPS, Commanda support, Imp support, Kale on DPS, who's actually going to go down here, and the tank line of Apostle and Prince Wada to try and hold the fort here. They are going to get jumped on in this first engagement, though. Saints going to get themselves a little bit of points on the board, but are eventually going to go down swinging. In regards to ultimates right now for the side of St. Clair, we do have a couple ready to go. We're going to have the Dragon Strike. We're going to have the Amplification Matrix coming out from Commanda's Baptiste as well. And then we're going to have the Bongo coming out here from Apostle as well. And watch out for the Shatter from Prince Wada, of course, right around the corner. Of course, mini game here in the chat, as we do see Kev jump on in. Who's going to take game number 1? As we see the Dragon Blade coming out here from Kantaru. He's going to slice through 2. Kale, though, is going to at least shut that down before any too crazy damage comes out. That's going to be a solid barrage coming out here from Bailable, but he's going to get taken down pretty quickly. Of course, Kikamanam right there, ready and waiting with the shot, and it's going to be Dirk Dursky finishing off the rest of the St. Clair squad. And I was told before the match that we actually have ourselves a special birthday here in the Saints community. Big happy birthday in the chat, and to everybody here. Say it with me here for Imp's mother tuning in here tonight. Big thank you for supporting Imp and his esports endeavors, and I hope you have a fantastic day as we see Kevin just go absolutely crazy here on the Saints. They blow pretty much everything. Kale going to be the last one alive. But hanging on by a thread. It's 75% actually right now here for University of Buffalo. This could be scary here for St. Clair if they can't get themselves in the position. Prince Wada does have the Shatter available alongside the Dragon Strike. Could be a possible combo if the Saints want to try and line this up. But it is going to take a little bit of execution. Can they line this one up? Not exactly. Dragon Strike. It's going to find Dirk Dursky, but it's going to be the trade 1-for-1, and that's a huge Shatter coming out here from Durnsbane, and that is going to be the fight lost here for St. Clair, and the first part of game number 1 is going to go into the favor of the University of Buffalo.
Score 1-0.
Was big thank you to everybody for tuning in to the broadcast. I know we had ourselves a bit of a slow start here today, but happy to get back into the swing of things and seeing some solid support for this Overwatch squad. Always a pleasure to see it. So thank you for tuning in and giving them your support. Part number 2 of Ilias, though, as we're going to see here, of course, we got Ryan, a loaf of paper, going to be doing the observing work for us here tonight. Extra camera in the sky here, giving us the best angles possible as we move along here in this matchup. Everyone's going to be charging right underneath right where that statue is to try and capture this next point. Right along with Kale for a second. He's got to be very careful, though. Kantaru might be looking for him as Kantaru's making the switch over to the Widowmaker. The long sightlines on this style of Ilias specifically can be deadly. Available on the McCree, going to find the first kill onto Durdursky. But can they follow up? It looks like as of right now, they're going to be able to. Apostle going to find one available, going to find another one, this time onto Juice. And they're going to be able to get this capture point as soon as it does unlock, which should just be in a brief moment. So a solid first fight, very similar to what we saw in the first part, or in the first round of Game 1. They're going to be able to capture it initially, but how long can they actually hang on to this is the question, because last time they just got taken down after one solid combo. Huge sleep actually coming out of nowhere from Juice. Right as the shield goes down, that could have been bad. The Available did end up getting caught because of that, but he was able to get out a dodge Commanda right there with Baptiste, which is a different pick for her, to be honest. We don't really see it too often in this season. Imp is going to be the first casualty in this next team fight, but Apostle is at least going to trade it out 1-for-1 against Durnsbane. But Kev finds Commanda, Kale finds Kakamanon, and now Available one-on-one with Kev. Not going to win that one, however. Looks like kind of deja vu as of this moment as the rest of the University of Buffalo charging in onto the point. We're going to be able to flip it. Imp is going to be the third one, actually. Oh, no, he would have been the first one alive on point, but does not want to dive in by himself as support. So he's going to ride along and wait for his teammates. We do see the Graviton coming out, and that's a lot of Saints caught up in that. That's kind of brutal. We do have a bit of a lockup, unfortunately. And you look, you blink, it's gone. Saints get deleted as that Graviton was absolutely perfect there. Sorry for a bit of a hiccup there, it seems, but we'll keep on going as of this moment. We still have 3 ultimates on deck here for St. Clair, but there's a lot of utility available from the University of Buffalo. 4 ultimates on deck from them, including the sound barrier, which could basically negate anything the Saints throw at them. Here comes the Dragon Blade coming here from Kantaru. Gonna be a huge shatter coming out here from Durnsbane as well. Not a very strong fight for Saints so far here, as they're gonna get shut down once again. I'm trying to see if any of the ultimates actually got used from the side of Saints. Maybe the Bongo, and that was basically it. Maybe Imp's sound barrier as well, now that I think about it. And oh god, just got absolutely crushed there by Durnsbane. This, these secondary and tertiary fights that Saints have been getting involved in just have not been quite working out as of this moment. But still, trying to get the job done here. Once again, 75% on the board here for University of Buffalo. Maybe 1 or 2 more fights. Kev gets the kill onto Imp, and Kantaru finds Commanda. The support line get completely destroyed before the actual team fight even gets an opportunity to get started. It's going to absolutely melt them aside and send them right back to the spawn point with 90% and like 10 seconds left to go. Somebody has to touch that thing, but that's a very aggressive defensive position coming out here from the side of the University of Buffalo, and I don't think anybody from St. Clair is going to be able to touch this. Never mind, it is going to be the overtime coming out as Available did make his way to the point. Kale and Apostle charging on to the site, trying to make this work. It is going to be Kale eventually going down after the nice reflect there from Kantaru. But can the Saints capture this? They are going to be able to flip it, but they did basically use everything they have to make sure they can get that. They still do have, of course, the amplification matrix coming out here from Commanda if need be on the next team fight. But otherwise, they will not have a single ultimate for this next fight, and we very well could see Kakamanam and Kantaru with Durnsbane as additional support there with that shatter. Really swing this fight. Going to be scary. We see Prince Wada on the Wrecking Ball trying to make something happen. There's the Deadeye. It's going to be right on target onto Available. And just to finish things off, here comes Kantaru, who's going to be unstoppable, basically, in this situation. Kale trying his best, but he is going to eventually get sliced up here by Kantaru. So 99% and ticking. Can Available touch it one more time? That's pretty far. I don't think so. University of Buffalo going to take game number 1. Durnsbane going to find himself the play of the game after this one. I think it was one of those huge shatters. It's going to be in the first round, actually. Where did this happen? He does have the shatter available. He does find the tank line, and he was able to really charge on in and disrupt basically everybody on the side of St. Clair with those extremely narrow corridors. So game one maybe didn't exactly go in the favor of St. Clair, but that is a-okay. Of course, this being a best-of-5 series means they still have plenty of action still to come here in this Overwatch matchup. And, like, I'll just kind of reiterate it very similar to what we had seen once again earlier on, where the Saints, that initial team fight, they were actually doing really good. They were able to clean it up twice. On both rounds, they won the first fight. Then University of Buffalo just had maybe a little bit more patience, maybe a little bit more discipline going into the second fight, the third fight. They've been constantly able to recapture the points after catching, or after those second and third team fights. So it kind of puts Saints in an awkward position where then they're kind of just throwing themselves into the fight, just not quite getting it. It felt they're always behind on ultimates, and they were just not quite able to turn it around, but definitely tried their damnedest. They did actually, of course, get the recapture in that second round, but only to about 50% or so. So, University of Buffalo, solid defense as soon as they got onto that point. And now we're going to get to go to the next round here, or next game here in this matchup. Of course, like I was saying, best of 5 action. And of course, it's not a Saints match if we don't get to go to Kings Row. So that's where we're going to be going for game number 2 in just a moment. Now, with our prediction mini game, of course, somebody is cashing out big today. Because, of course, the big question was, who takes game number 1? 96% of you said St. Clair was going to get that. And only one person said University of Buffalo. And that is going to be absolute channel points for you. So that is going to hop on over to them. Hopefully I didn't actually send that off a little bit too early. I keep forgetting about that 3 minutes delay. So accusing Penguin, big props to you getting yourself 20,000 channel points after getting the right prediction that time by. For game number 2, though, can St. Clair bring this back on their map, basically? Can they make it happen here on Kings Row? Who takes Kings Row? So yeah, apologies for any spoilers if I accidentally did it via the points, but I'll take notice of that this time by taking a look and seeing what is going on here. We were about to hop into the game, but it got taken out real quick. But of course, as we... Oh, that's why they're switching sides. That makes sense. It looks like, I think, Saints are going to be on the attacking side first this time by. Okay, apologies while I get everything ready here. Okay, speedrunning all this as best as possible. New prediction is now in the chat. So, of course, those channel points or whatever that I was talking about, that is all just from earning points from just watching a stream. That's all you have to do. There's no monetary investment. It's all for fun at the end of the day. And now we're finally going to be hopping into game number 2, of course. Going to be on to Kings Row. The Saints on the blue side this time by, compared to last game. Of course, University of Buffalo, after a solid game number 1, putting Saints in a bit of a hard spot, but we'll see if they can turn this one around here on what is basically their home field here on Kings Row. Of course, before we do also hop into this next matchup, a big thank you to the sponsors that make this all possible. Of course, that being St. Clair College, the Zeckelman School of Business and Information Technology, EC Outlet, Tim Hortons, the St. Clair Alumni Association, and the St. Clair College SRC. So thank you all for making this all possible here with the St. Clair Saints varsity esports team, making these broadcasts and these teams all possible. And then it turns out here I am an absolute bot. It's going to be St. Clair on the defensive side of things to start off this game. And what I see pretty consistently here with Kings Row, it's basically full hold or 3 points is what it really feels like. That streets phase, once the offending team tends to get there, it seems to go pretty quickly, especially since these, or even for the first point here, with the spawns being so far away, could be a little bit difficult if you get killed off as a defender. We're going to see Commanda on the Moira this time by, and taking a look at the rest of the composition. Pretty much the same other than the support pick. And the Saints actually just absolutely roll this one. Apostle and Fritzuada leading the charge as Available and even Apostle get himself on the kill feed as well. Gonna clean up the fights. That first fight going down without an issue. Of course, for King's Row this time by, they have to capture that control point, but then they're going to have to push a cart after the fact for those who may not necessarily be aware here, as Kale is going to go off on a quick double. Derdersky going to at least find Commanda, but Commanda on the Moira is going to be able to get back into the play relatively quickly compared to some of these heroes with the dash. Juice going to find Derdersky, going to try and get him back and revives nice and quick before this fight actually ends up going down. No staggering this time by. Available taking a little bit of heat, but nothing too much to worry about. We see the Graviton coming out here. That is going to be the Grav coming out of Kev, but nobody goes down until Available does go down, actually. Fritzuada going to take the trade here up against Sternsbane. The big Reinhardt, big tank, taken off the field. We also see Kale and Apostle finding 2 eliminations as well. And with the Shatter and hands here for Fritzuada, he could definitely turn this one around if necessary. You see the Coalescence come out here from Commanda. Big ol' laser beam going to heal and do as much DPS as possible to the opposing squad. It's going to make this side of University of Buffalo retreat for the time being. Send them aside. And Saints with Fritzuada leading the charge here. Is debating on going a little bit further, but wisely probably opting against it. First waits for this Shatter, and that's going to be the Grav coming out here from Apostle. It gobbled up a lot of them. And oh my goodness! Available with a gigantic Deadeye, takes care of 4 of them, and then finds the kill onto Kakamanam after the fact. Hello, play of the game, if I've ever seen it, unless something crazy happens later on. Definitely hope we can get ourselves a second look at that one. That was a nice shot. Here comes the Dragon Blade, stunned up instantly, but not until Imp gets taken down. That's going to be a solid invulnerability field coming out here from Juice to keep his team alive. Saints are dropping here. It's not going to be going in their favor this time by. It's finally going to go down. And Fritzuada, he's been hanging on to this Shatter for like what feels like 2 to 3 minutes, and unfortunately just not finding his opportunity to let it go. A good Shatter could have definitely swung that fight, but he's going to just opt to hang on to it, maybe for the Streets phase, which, of course, like I was saying, seems to be a little bit difficult to try and defend at times. We see Fritzuada getting aggressive. That's going to be the Graviton. He's going to end up firing the Shatter, but it's not going to get anybody except Sternsbane because of that invulnerability field. Kale coming in, going to find Kantaro as well. So now Saints get to push in as the cart is just coming out of the garage. They're going to keep this thing stuck. Yes, now that the first point was captured here by the side of the University of Buffalo, they do have themselves a little bit more time on the clock, but still have to be a little bit worried here as Saints are basically camping this cart until Fritzuada did go down. Sternsbane going to find himself a bit of a revenge kill going into... Excuse me, Sternsbane finding the kill onto Fritzuada and whatnot, so... Now, back to the Streets phase. It's going to be a little bit here before Fritzuada can get back, as we can barely see the outline. He's so far away, it's going to be hard for him to get back into this fight. Apostle and Kale could possibly combo up a decent combo here with the Graviton and the Dragon Strike. Can they find themselves an opportunity? A good jump here onto Kakamanam, and there's going to be the Dragon Strike right on top of it. Here it comes right through the team, but it could be very well turned around here. Kantaro tries to get the Dragon Blade out. He finds Kale, but that's about it, and it's not going to be enough to win this fight. We see Available going point blank here alongside Derdersky, and he's going to take him down. Saints going to win that team fight, and they've been doing a solid job, actually, of they can be eating my words here about the Streets phase, and right now, University of Buffalo not really able to push this thing very far. Shatter, Coalescence, Sound Barrier, Deadeye. We have lots of utility here for St. Clair going into this next fight. And we'll have to see what happens, as it's going to be a huge one there. That's going to be another solid Shatter coming out here from Prince Wada, alongside the Coalescence here from Commanda. Going to clean up this fight. They're going to wisely hang on to the Deadeye, hang on to the Sound Barrier. Thankfully not using everything that they have in one go, which is definitely good. Still have a couple seconds here in your prediction for Game 2. As of right now, 60% of you think Saints will take King's Row. And with the way they're defending right here, you might be on to something. As we see a solid Deadeye coming here from Baleable, but he is going to trade 1-for-1 as Dern's Bane is going to give him a nice whack outside the head. That Shatter goes right into the shield of Prince Wada. Absolutely zero effectiveness, and that very well could turn this fight nice and quick. Apostle going to find Kantaru, who made the switch off the Genji over to Hanzo instead. Doesn't want to play that melee playstyle anymore, rather sit back with the bow, but as of right now, not starting off too strong for him as of this moment. Juice still trying to make something happen here on this Baptiste. Has been doing rather decently, keeping his team alive with some of these invulnerability fields, but there's still just too much pressure coming up here from the Saints. They do have Grav Dragon again. There's the Graviton. Where's the Dragon? There it comes. Line him up. Eat him up. That Dragon's hungry. Kale is going to find himself the Quadra, and it's just a matter of dealing with that last other imposter Hanzo there with Kantaru, and Apostle going to finish him off. Kale, nice Quadra to finish off that fight. 10 seconds to go here for Saints to try and defend, or for the side of University of Buffalo to push this cart to the second checkpoint. They have a long ways to go here. They cannot find themselves off that cart at all, otherwise this overtime will tick on down. You see the Sound Barrier coming out early actually here from Durski, but it doesn't matter. Kev is going to go down nice and quick. Saints are on a killing spree. Commanda, Coalescence going to find himself herself another one, and Baleable going to find Kikamanam. And that is going to be it, as Juice does fall to the stun grenade available. And a solid defense after that first initial point for St. Clair. Making me eat my words about saying that that Streets phase seems to be kind of hard to defend, as they were barely able to get it outside of the tunnel portion. So Saints, all they have to do for their attacking round is take the first initial control point and push that cart not very far, to be honest. Looks like at the top they're just under 54 meters away, which of course is not that far in the slightest. Very doable here for St. Clair to take the second round here, or second game rather, in this series, and fight themselves back. Maybe it was just a map pick thing. Maybe Ilias was just very strong here for the University of Buffalo. And of course, this is just part one, technically, of a very action-packed evening here tonight. Of course, we do have the Overwatch match here as of right now, but the League of Legends team will also be playing later on tonight on the OPSE stream. So make sure you go support the squad. Of course, regular season matchup here for Overwatch. We have playoffs over after the fact for League of Legends. It isn't still just such a busy season here for Saints. It's absolutely awesome seeing all the teams competing here tonight. Now let's see what the Saints can do in regards to the offensive side of things. It's going to be basically keeping the same team composition. Baleable is just basically not moved from this McCree, with the exception of one Tracer run once it became a dire situation near the end of game number 1. Got to take the high ground to get past that choke point. Prince Wada, solid shielding, keeping them out of dodge here. Kantaru actually switching over to the Sombra. First time we're going to be seeing him play that hero here tonight. Saints are going to drop down. Commanda nearly getting herself popped, but going to be able to top everybody up, plus herself, of course, with those healing orbs. Going to be able to keep everybody good to go. Of course, Moira, so good when they're clumped up like this. Of course, that yellow spray that you do see, that is all just constant healing. And now we're going to be fighting right onto the point itself. And Dern Spain's the first casualty. That's actually huge here for St. Clair. Commanda did go down, but she doesn't have a very far distance to travel to get back into this fight after she respawns. So Pertwada and the rest of the squad trying to make something happen. Kantaru, though, is finding the DPS players alongside Kev. This could be just enough of a stall here for the University of Buffalo to stop this push. They're definitely going to try their damnedest. Pertwada goes down alongside Imp. Commander gets taken down again as well. Apostle trying his damnedest, but it is going to be pushed aside at the end of the day here. So... No. Actually, there was... Did that tick actually happen? I'm just trying to see. Yes, okay, so that is 1/3 of the capture point locked in here for the Saints. Just need to do that either 3 more times, get themselves 3 more solid pushes to take care of the rest, or just 1 more good team fight can definitely swing this. It's going to be Coalescence going to lead the charge here. The Shatter is available. And to be honest, Durnsbane's kind of separated from the rest of his team. Huge Shatter coming out here from Durnsbane. That took down 4 or 5 members of the side of the Buffalo squad. That being said, though, they've been able to get back up and just fight on through. Dukdersky and Juice keeping everybody all topped off, considering the damage. Huge plays from them. You don't oftentimes see the support players pop off, but it's definitely one of the times that it definitely would make sense. There's no reason that the Saints should not have swept that, I don't think. And they're going to have to blow some ultimates to make this happen here. Apostle, Graviton, ready to go. We're going to see the combo here with Kale. Is he going to be able to find the shot necessary? There it is. Line them up. Every kiss begins with Kale. And that is going to be the triple coming out after that kiss of death from the Dragon. Nicely done there. The rest of the team just falls down, and that is going to be available, cleaning it up with the double. That is going to be the rest of this checkpoint. Saints finally picking it up, and now they only have a couple meters to go, as long as they can keep off the reinforcements. It's so close to being captured. Kale going to find Kev, but can they push the rest of the team off? It's very close right now. We see, actually, even that was Juice getting right into the swing of things just to make sure that that site did not get taken, but it does not matter. It's going to go down. We see the Saints actually hot pursuit of the team. They're going to send Commanda and back to make sure that that cart is at least moving once it comes out of the garage. Very aggressive position here for Saints. They want to get in front of the area they have to capture to make it very uncomfortable for anybody to try and contest this point. They don't have a whole lot in regards to the ultimates. They have the defensive ultimate in the sound barrier, if necessary, coming out from Imp. But then Commanda has a Coalescence, and then there's the Dead Eye from Available. That is all they have to work with. But granted, at the same time, University of Buffalo, they have nothing. They have nothing in the tank here right now. So this is a little bit rough here for them. Now that it looks that way, it's going to be the Coalescence coming through the tank line. Of course, Coalescence does not care about your shields, and it goes right through and eats them up. That being said, right on the doorstep here of the capture point, you see that glowing spot on the ground. They just have to push it to that point, but it's stupid close. Looks like Apostle pretty much like halfway charged. He's for a tank doing still a ton of damage. It's going to be Thirsty going down. The Dragon comes back with 1 more kiss of death, and St. Clair going to take game number 2 after the final finishing blow in a back and forth battle on the point. But the Saints going to take this. Now, who gets the play of the game here? Of course, it wouldn't be Overwatch if a Dragon Strike did not steal play of the game. We're not going to see Bailable's big old Deadeye, but that's going to be one of them. Actually, was this one on the defensive side of things? I'm not even sure, but yeah, it was on the defensive side of things. Takes them down. That was the first quadra actually coming out here from Kale. So a fantastic job. Nonetheless, was able to hold them down right outside that tunnel. The fact that they barely had to push that thing into the streets phase at all made it nice and comfortable with plenty of time on the clock. And eventually Saints just capitalized, and University of Buffalo, Kings Row side of things may not be as strong as they were on Ilias. So we're going to have to see what happens for game number 3. As we are now, of course, tied up 1-1. Havana going to be the pick here for game 3. And we've seen, as of the preseason anyway, it would have been the last time I feel like we've seen Saints on Havana. They were confident, to say the least. The teams that they were playing there, off the first initial spawn point, the big garage, Saints would literally just sit in front of the door and just take them down time and time again. You may see something like a May come out here from Bailable, or even a Reaper with these close range battles right around the corner. As you may hear in the background, we are just in process of getting ourselves loaded in for this next matchup. And in fact, We're going to hop on into it in just a moment, chopping up here just a second here, if it's a little bit of fuzziness for you guys, or it might just be for me. But it looks like, okay, we're all good here, it looks like. So to anybody in the chat, of course, who called out that Saints were going to get themselves the victory, get the victory in that one, then absolutely, you are definitely profiting for that. This time by 60% of you had faith in the Saints to take Kings Row. So big props to you guys. Atmosphere in the chat laughing at me. Yes, I was sitting on that one for a little while since somebody somebody made the joke in the chat prior to the game starting. So I just had to save that one. Looks like Saints going to be on the defensive side of things, and sure enough, we are going to see Bailable make the switch over to the Mei this time by. Something we've seen in the preseason, of course, just being able to throw out those ice walls, and then the Blizzard, of course, is just too damn good of an ultimate in these close quarters sections. And we're going to see a bit of a sneaky defensive position. Okay, they're just going to go right away and go right to the door once again. Very similar style. I know it's a little bit pixely here for us on the side of the stream, so I apologize for that. We're going to try and get that fixed as soon as possible. But bit of a back and forth here. Prince Wada is actually going to be the first casualty. Kantaru over on the Echo this time. A nice little switch up to maybe throw off the Saints. But granted, the one time the Saints don't take McCree, they have to pick something out of the skies, and that is going to be a little bit difficult. Of course, the Mei not very good at picking things out of the skies. Kekamanam going to take care of Bailable. Kamana going to go down. Apostle's going to blow himself up, actually, trying to shoot somebody down. So a very solid start here for the University of Buffalo going into game number 2.
I understand.
Group up here.
Hello.
And okay, Kale with the snipe headshot to take care of this opening battle here. And of course, the Hanzo having a bit of a hard time trying to deal with the Echo. And actually, I do like the fact that Bailable, after they did get out of the garage, make the switch back to the McCree, help your teammate try and take that Echo out of the skies. That's going to be the sound barrier coming out from Imp. He just absolutely saving the bacon of everybody on the Saints side of things. That extra little bit of shields. But Prince Wada gets a little bit aggressive, so he's going to eat the shatter and end up going down after Kantaru takes him down on the Hanzo. But the rest of the Saints still back and forth battling here. Good Graviton here coming out from Apostle. He's hanging on by a thread, though. Battle Mercy coming in here from Juice. Going to be able to take the kill on the tank and take the kill onto Bailable. You usually think of Mercy as a strictly pure support, pure healer, but it's always funny to see when the Mercy whips out the pistol. Juice absolutely capitalizing and helping his team push forward here as we're right around the corner to the first checkpoint at these warehouse doors. Prince Wada leading the charge alongside the Coalescence from Commanda. The Deadeye is going to pick Commanda out, unfortunately, there for her. Going to be going down right before thing even starts. Nice Deadeye, going to at least find one. The Dragon Strike going to split the teams in this situation, and it's going to allow Saints to finally give themselves a chance to breathe, winning a solid team fight. Maybe not necessarily comboing the ultimates, but using them in a sense that can push everybody away. So a solid job nonetheless. Off the start for this next team fight, we do see Dirk Dursky going down nice and quick. Kamenam getting himself blown up here by Bailable as well. Another solid team fight, and there was no ultimates really even involved in this one. Just Saints completely outgunning the University of Buffalo, sending them back to their garage. And now, with I think it's Commanda all the way back on the point. Somebody's all the way back on the point, I think. And it's just slowly but surely making its way back. Of course, you can push it back a little bit as the defensive side of things, but it doesn't go very fast, to say the least. Off the start again. That's going to be the shatter. Hello, Prince Wada. Finds himself a triple, and the rest of the Saints just mow through the University of Buffalo. Huge play coming off of that shatter from Prince Wada, and now University of Buffalo kind of getting a little bit worried here. 30 seconds left to go in this battle. Unless they can get themselves to the point itself. Graviton coming on out. And that's going to be messy. Nice little coalescence coming out here from Commanda to at least keep everybody alive a little bit longer. Shatter not really hitting its mark. Baleable with a huge Deadeye, taking care of two of the squishy members on the side of the University of Buffalo. Dragon Strike going to make things messy too. Durnsbane, Durski goes down, and they are going to shut him down. The emergency tracer coming out here from Kikamanam, not going to touch the point in time. So solid work here from the side of St. Clair, basically skunking the side of University of Buffalo. No points in this push. We have ourselves a bit of a late prediction this time by, so quickly, you have 2 minutes to actually get this one. Actually, now that I even mentioned this is on a 3-minute delay, so you won't hear anything until we actually get there. So hopefully everybody's paying attention in the chat as well. Get yourselves in to this prediction here. Of course, who's going to take the lead after Havana is the question. With a nice solid defense like what St. Clair just did, just have to round the corner. We see the truck right on the spot, or right around the corner as well, just where that yellow square is, just around the corner. You can kind of barely see it in sight as this moment. That's where the Saints have to get it to. No, and it's gone. But that's where they have to get it to in order to get themselves the victory here in this matchup. And it just goes to show how good the Saints defense is on Havana. Granted, this time, we've seen them completely full hold them at their garage before, but that is definitely kind of difficult to do. So, with a team as solid as University of Buffalo, definitely not letting them do that, but still going to full hold them nonetheless. Saints coming out, charging out the side. Wada coming out swinging, but a lot of damage coming across the rest of his team since he was swinging that hammer. But does not matter. Durski's going to go down. Headshot from Kale. He's finding these shots here. And Apostle, nicely done. Lasers down Durnsbane. And the target focus is just perfect here from the side of St. Clair. They're melting member after member of the University of Buffalo here on Havana. It's going to force the rest of the squishies, the rest of the team to try and run for the hills. They're trying to focus down that Ana. Apostle going to find Juice. And that's a huge pickoff, and there goes Kantaru. It's going to be a stagger situation in this next couple fights here, because there's not going to be the chance of a proper 6-on-6 unless the University of Buffalo allow St. Clair to get it pretty much right onto the point. They have to run a little bit too far. No ultimates on deck, though. A Commando going to be right around the corner from a Coalescence, which of course can be the game changer. Never mind, I'm an absolute bot. Kev had the Graviton available, but it does not matter. We do see the rest of the Saints tearing through this defense from the side of the University of Buffalo. Commando just lasering him down. Apostle going to find himself a triple. Can they find the Lucio? They are eventually going to find Durski, who instantly switches off the Brigitte, and it's not going to be effective enough. The Grav going to block the pathway. St. Clair going to take Game 3 in convincing fashion, to be honest. Play of the game going to Prince Wada. This is probably that shatter we saw in the defensive side of things. Sure enough, right here, stunned up. There's no Reinhardt, and you just get to absolutely line this up and takes care of everybody. It was on top of the Coalescence, not the Coalescence. I was an absolute falsehood there. So just Saints able to mow him down right after that. So nicely done there from the Saints on Havana. It just seems, as of right now, Saints just didn't like Ilias, apparently, because these last two games have been rather convincing. University of Buffalo started off on such a high note, but now it feels like kind of nothing's working. It's really weird to see them like fall off this hard. Let's hope going into what will be the 2CP, the 2 capture point map, which can tend to be rather volatile. We'll kind of see if they can pick something that they like, because this can be a weird game mode. Of course, instead of pushing any cards, it's just strictly trying to capture 2 points. But those can swing pretty quickly. Just taking a look at the game itself, but it looks like, was it just a best of 3? Game over, everybody. This was a best of 3, so solid job there for St. Clair. I'm just getting caught apparently here. I was expecting this to be a best of 5 matchup, but no, best of 3 here, which means St. Clair are going to take this in the reverse sweep, 2-1. making it look easy on the last two maps, even though that first map looked like such a struggle for the University of Buffalo. Like, again, they started off so strong, but just could not keep that momentum up. Saints shut it down on Kings Row, and there was just no turning back from there. So, solid job to everybody on Saints for their victory. Of course, GG's, good games to the University of Buffalo. Of course, it's still very early here in the NECC season, so I'm sure we'll see you again sometime down the road, and looking forward to the rematch later on. And of course, a couple thank yous to go out. First off, big thank you to Ryan, a loaf of paper, for doing the observing for us here today, giving us the eye in the sky and giving us the best angles possible on all these fights. Big thank you for volunteering and doing the observing. Thank you, thank you. Then, of course, big thank you to the sponsors that make this all happen here on the side of the St. Clair Saints, that being, of course, St. Clair College, the Zeckelman School of Business and Information Technology, the St. Clair SRC, and the St. Clair College Alumni Association, EC Outlet, and Tim Hortons. Thank you all for making the St. Clair Saints varsity esports team possible, so we can have these teams, we can have these broadcasts, and support these players in their esports endeavors. Which, of course, then also, big thank you to everybody for tuning in to the broadcast and supporting your friends, your family members, classmates, or just the school's team in general. Big thank you for tuning in and watching the match here tonight. That being said, there is still tons of action here on the Saints channel as well as elsewhere, where the Saints will be playing right around the corner. I'm going to quickly throw it over to our schedule for what we have coming up in the near future, as Friday we get to switch things over to the Call of Duty side of things, as our COD team is going to be taking a part in the TESPA Collegiate Cold War qualifiers. Qualifying tournament, double elimination bracket. How far can the squad go? They're absolutely killing it right now in CCL. Let's see if they can take that momentum towards the TESPA Collegiate side of things. Then on Saturday, part of our double header, we have League of Legends CLOL going to be taking place at 3. Then, depending on how the team does on Friday, we could see the COD team back again on Saturday at 7 p.m. for some more TESPA Collegiate Cold War qualifiers. If they happen to drop out early, there will still be a match at 7 p.m. It's going to be the Face It Collegiate R6 Championships. And then on Sunday, we get to see the CSGO team for the first time in a week, and we'll have them for the Face It CSGO Contenders League. Then on Monday, we're back with League of Legends once again, this time for the Upsurge Minor League at 8 p.m. Our team is currently on an undefeated streak here in the amateur scene and absolutely killing it. Let's see if they can keep that going. And then I'm hearing in the chat, of course, right here, right now, everybody's coming in saying, Dan, it was a best of 3, you bot. And of course, I got absolutely baited, but that's a-okay. In regards to the matchups, of course, be sure you follow us here on the Saints Gaming CA Twitch channel to make sure when all these matches happen that you can catch it live, and then on our Twitter page as well to make sure you catch all the results, as well as any of the any Saints Gaming news. You won't miss a beat. But with that, I'm going to close things on out here today. Again, my name's Dan Banner, your producer here on the Saints Gaming CA Twitch channel. You can follow me at Mr. Danners if you wish on Twitter. And then I will see you all tomorrow for a good night of Call of Duty. And if I do recall, actually right here, right now, I'm going to double check something as, later on tonight, make sure you go to the OPSE Esports Twitch stream, because our St. Clair College team is going to be going up against Carleton in OPSE League of Legends playoffs. And they're on the winner's side of things. We want to keep it that way, so be sure to show them some support as well. But with that, we'll close out here for tonight. I'll stop rambling, as I usually do at the end of these broadcasts. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for some Call of Duty.